Brother Nino.
Okay, today's Father's Day.
Yeah.
I have three beautiful children, 28, 26, and 24.
What?
And I've taught them not to pay attention of days of the weeks, special days. It's all a made-up story of men.
Mm-hmm.
All days are the same. Where you make it special every day.
Mm-hmm.
So they know that. So today they're not here for Father's Day because I taught them that.
Ouch.
But they have honored me inadvertently because they all bind it together. The younger sister, which lives in Portland, Oregon, she broke up with a boyfriend. So they took on a car ride to go and help her out, to doing whatever move, and they're going to bring her back home to Houston. So that is something that has to do with, they saw the unity of love in my family when I brought them in Italy, and they lived there for 3 years. They learned that, and in that I feel proud of them. And for that reason, today I wore this very busy shirt. That was a gift from my daughter, the ones that honor me the most. I love them all the same, but she honors me. She went to LA, she thought about me, she brought me this shirt, so I want to wear it. And I'm glad that my kids are doing the right thing today. Not being here as a tradition, but being with her sister that needs them.
Awesome. Today, we have a very special speaker who's traveled all the way from Italy to Carmel. I didn't do it today, but it took him a while to get here. But trust me, that was his purpose from leaving Italy, so that he could get to Carmel Temple and share this experience with you. His name is, of course, Brother Nino. And he's had a remarkable life. What I like about Nino is that he walks his stuff. Whatever he says that you should do, he does it first. So, you know, whatever he's going to tell you today, you can rest assured it comes from experience. The experiences of his life, and what he knows, and the studies that he has done. You know, Nino reads everything. There isn't a book I can mention that Nino hasn't read. He just kind of always is reading everything. And then he synthesizes it together into his own belief system, which is a wonderful way of doing things. And I love that. I love that about him. And today, what he's going to do for you is he's going to tell you how to realize your destiny and embrace your victory. Let's welcome warmly Brother Nino.
Technology works. I put in writing so I don't get on a monologue going for hours, like I usually do. Okay. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to tell you a story. This thing incorporates. How to embrace victory and realize your destiny. This is an ancient story, probably older than the Bible. It's the story of Brahman and Maya. Brahman, of course, is supreme consciousness, God, whatever we want to call it, all there is. So in the beginning, there was Brahman. There was nothing but Brahman. For eons, until Brahman decided to have some fun. and thought to play a game. So he created the first team player for this game and infused lots of his attributes into it. He named this godlike player Maya. He explained to Maya the purpose of having fun. And Maya processed the objective and said, okay, let's play the most wonderful pretend game. But you have to do as I tell you to do. Now, create the universe from light. Vibrate the particles at different frequency to collect into bodies we call galaxies. Teeming with stars and planets, spreading large expanse, and giving them property of expanding and creating new stars. Now, fill the solid body with life of every imaginable species, all according to their kind, that lives, reproduces, and dies, leaving behind the improved adapted generation to the ever-changing condition of the planet habitat. Then, while all was established and working in harmony as our crude gaming board that we use today, then let's place the pawn to play with, the avatars. So Brahman created humans to represent the highest form of life, and following Maya's suggestion, he inserted a piece of himself in each human. Once in the human body, Maya said, you will not have memory. I've created a condition in the game that'll make you forget who you are. Your job is to find out the true self in one life of each of the avatars. And when you exit the game with the knowledge and realization of a true self, and your attribute of power, you will be the winner of the game, and the specific avatar will not be required to play it again. Once all the human avatar arrive to the self-realization of the divine self, the game will be over. Brahman agreed, and the game began. The longest game ever to be played in the Guinness Book of Records. We are dreaming all the time. Every day we have 2 periods of dreaming. The sleeping time dreaming and the awake time dreaming. We all know. Science knows too. Everything is matter and everything is made of atoms with a 99% empty space. So we see what we see, we feel what we feel, but if you go down into the nitty-gritty, nothing is supposed to be here. Because atoms are empty space. And empty space don't have a matter, don't have a visualization. We don't have that solid stuff like this wood. But it's here, we feel it, and we experience it, and we accept it. In the streaming state, when each individual avatar wakes up and realizes in the dream that he or she is Brahman and reclaims his divinity, he wins the game. That means you and I. When we realize that we have God in us and we awake to this realization, we are winning the game. It's like landing on the board game on a special location, square, or whatever, and you get to pick a card, you know, the community card, and you read, now jump to the finish line. This is what happens in the game when you receive that inner knowing, the realization, and you believe it. This will bring you to a joy and bliss and tears of ecstasy. Now you know and see beyond the dream shadows, and you will naturally find the desire to share this truth to the rest of your brothers and sisters, especially the ones that are still asleep. And despite the difficulties of the Maya creative matrix, when all awoken will cooperate, they'll find a way to have fun and joy and peace while still in the dream process, consciously being present and awake at all times. Brahman is the light of consciousness that illumines Maya and thus enlivens all things. All and all things. He's allowing this to be. It's part of the game. Don't despair. It's not real. It's a game. It's a dream. The uniqueness of a human is not like any other, you know. And if you want to make sure that, you know, just observe this, because when you investigate and observe all earthly creatures, we can see that the behavior and function are simple and predictable. They enter the creation, live, procreate, and die, not adding any lasting structure, machinery, or recorded knowledge. The next generation lives just as simple as the first one, making only small genetic adaptation to the surrounding environment. Humans, in the opposite side, change their environment and make records outlining the process and methods to facilitate the next generation to easily accomplish the same feat, thus increasing knowledge and ability over time. We do have the creator abilities in us, which begin in the thinking mind by planning, plus adding that desire, that fire inside of us, and then finish it off with the magic of imagination. Having received or accomplished the task or goal is to be visualized, imagined. When all this come together, we are creating every time. And your imagination is the divine attribute in us that we learn in the story, the piece of Brahman in each human being. And with this imagination, you can create all imagined. Our Father, Brahman, God, created the universe and all life. We are specks of his reflection. And when we organize together, we also create currently by assembling these atomic available components and processes in new atomic structures. We assemble even living plants and animals and specific organs to facilitate and improve our lives. From east to west, north to south, we have created freeways, railroad, well-planned subdivisions, cities, underground and underwater tunnels, planes, cars, submarine, telecommunication systems, space station, etc. We are divine beings. We are creator. No other animal in this planet we see can do that. Now, Christ was not any different than you and me. He was empowered by the realization of being one with the Father and not afraid to share his truth. And a walking Christ lives as Christ by following the Holy Spirit and exuding love. Living with love and extinguishing fear in all interior forms he might come. Because see, we're always attacked by fear. And fear controls us. Or love controls us. We have to make a choice. We are not free to walk in the fence. That would be maybe a temporary thing. But we have to make a choice. Either walk by fear or walk by love. Maya has been programming our life through our family, our churches, our school, our government, our media systems, with dogmas to be fearful and follow safety suggestion at the cost of accepting a prison of the mind, where it will be difficult to know and awake from this dream.
Yep. Got it.
You should be the one to direct your life, your imagination. You should be in charge of your direction and destination. Not Maya, not the media, not the governments, the churches, not the, the family members. The mind is a fertile ground and needs your protection from non-authorized sources, trainers, which are the sowers of unpalatable and limiting crops. You can start today by believing the story and repeat to yourself, I'm one with God. I'm one with my brother. End all strife, heal all wrongs, and love unconditionally. Be a constant spring of love and quench every flame of fear that is directed at you with the liquid love you produce from the God self within you. And life will not be mediocre anymore, but wonderful. When you embrace your embedded divine essence, you will grab your victory over fear, over death. Now, if you believe the story, and you see there's some truths that connects all the points to everything you ever read in the Bible, in Course in Miracles, in the Loved One, in many channels you ever read, or the Ascended Master, you know there is a truth right there. So we need to believe it. We have to live it. We have to accept it. And when we realize this truth, we realize our destiny. We are coming from one source, and we're going back to the same source. The easy visualization I get it from reading the Bible is, in the beginning, God created man from clay. And then he blew on his nostril and became a living soul.
Yes.
So the body is atomic, the soul is divine.
Yes.
When they split apart, one stays in the earth, and one goes back to God.
Yes.
Another nice analogy that I learned is that we all live life like soap bubbles. Everybody blows a soap bubbles. Some blows one this big, some blows this one so big. And they look bigger. Look, his life is bigger than mine. But inside that bubble, there is Donald air. And inside this little bubble, there's my air. They look different, but when they pop, there's not going to be any more Donald air or my air. It's only one air. So now you're ready to know this, to realize your destiny. Go on and have fun in the process. That's all.
Awesome.
Nito, that was wonderful, wonderful. You combined science with spirituality, didn't you? And that is not a small thing to achieve. So that makes it your best yet.